Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Tech Talk here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick from the Cusick Group. Securities offered by MoneyBlock. Here to Mary, taking a look at charts and options, give us some past history, and what's the forecast for the future. What am I talking about? Well, let's dig down right into it. We're going to take a look at three stocks today that have some events coming up in the next 24 hours. The two stocks that are having some conferences are going to be Cisco and Radware. I'm going to start with Cisco. As a matter of fact, they're talking on the Cisco on the Road conference in Washington, D.C. So Cisco right now is trading $29.43, down about 39 cents or about 1.29% today. Now, what I want to do is that I want to marry technical analysis so that we get some perspective, right? That's it. And then I want to take the options and the option prices and see what they're deriving as far as potential forecasted moves in the underlying Cisco going into tomorrow. So taking a look at the charts, Cisco right now trading at $29.43. It's been on the downside. Cisco's been beat up over the last month or so, and it is down in sympathy today with just the tech sector in general, but not as much as some of the other larger cap tech like Apple. Now, the three simple moving averages that I use are the 20-day, the 50-day, and the 200-day. Now, I know those of you that watch Tech Talk all the time, you're like, all right, Joe, we get it. For those that are new, because we are growing our audience, the 20-day is looked at and utilized as a trend type of moving average. Looking at the short-term interest. If it's above, the trend is to the upside. If the stock is below the 20-day, then the trend is to the downside. We also look at the 50-day moving average. Now, the 50-day moving average is quite often referred to as midterm moving average. I use it as my institutional moving average. This is quite often when you will start to see institutions either start to waver if the stock goes below that moving average, or they're contemplating adding as it tests, holds, and then bounces off that 50-day moving average. And then the beloved 200-day moving average. That's just to give us an overall trend analysis of where is potential support if, in fact, the stock falls out of bed. All right, so the 20-day moving average comes in at $30.50 on Cisco. Right now, the stock is at $29.43. I'm looking at this as, first of all, the current trend to the downside. I also am going to look at this as resistance. I want to see if there is a trend shift, it's got to get above that 20-day moving average at $30.50. I'm also seeing that the 50-day moving average is at $30.72. That's telling me that institutions, they're not biting right here, especially that since the stock is in a downward trend and it is not above that 20-day moving average, which might give them a little bit of an inkling to say, you know what, I'm going to pay attention to Cisco. Now, the 200-day moving average comes in at $29.36, so we're at a test today. Right now, we're looking at a test of the long-term moving average. Over the past 200 days, everyone that's bought this stock and it's been moving up or down, it's now testing all those people that have bought stock basically from $29 all the way up to its highs and now coming back down. Let's watch this. The last time that we actually saw a test of this 200-day moving average was in July. It was at the $27 level. The options are telling me quite simply that the stock could move going into this conference tomorrow about 31 cents or 1% going into the expiration of the weekly options, which are tomorrow, Friday. Now, if I look out a little bit further into next week, you're pricing in the potential for the stock to move either up or down 65 cents going into the expiration of the weeklies next Friday. So that's what the options are forecasting for potential movement in the stock. I'm telling you, you're not hearing this on any other network. Let's take a look at Radware. They're also going to be speaking at this event. Ticker symbol RDWR. Stock's trading at $13.43. It's up 2 cents today. So it's actually counter trending the overall tech market, which is down today. So it's up about 1/10%, a little bit greater than that. Now, taking a look at the simple moving averages, the 20 days at 13.05. So we got the stock above that 20-day moving average, which is giving me some satisfaction that the trend is to the upside at this juncture. I also look at the 50-day moving average, and guess what? It's at 13.05 as well. So now we're at a juncture that if all of a sudden institutions start to hear something they like at that conference, or there's some headlines that come out and it could be a positive. That could be a catalyst to the upside. I'm going to watch this one closely, see if it can actually hold the support level on the 20 and the 50. Also, if you start to see that the trend starts to accelerate, that 20-day moving average is going to gap up a lot faster than the 50-day. The bigger that gap, the more interesting it gets for traders, especially those that have been riding that trend to the upside on the short period. You might see some profit taking as that gap between the 20 and 50-day gets very wide. That's just another little sidebar note. The 200-day moving average comes in at 1223, so we're looking at that area as support. Now, taking a look at the monthly options that are expiring on the third Friday in December, they're pricing in the potential for the stock to go up or down about 86 cents today, 86 cents for the next 3 weeks. Interesting. We're going to keep an eye on that. 86-cent move in a $13 stock. You're talking about basically about a 7% move being priced in either up or down. We're going to watch Radware. Now, the last stock we want to take a look at is going to be Delta Airlines. Why Delta? They're going to be coming out with their November traffic data tomorrow. Ticker symbol is DAL. Airlines have been strong. Their profits have been high. Oil prices have been low. And now the crude prices are moving to the upside. We're going to watch that number very closely. But what is the charts telling us what has been happening? And what are the options forecasting for potential movement going forward? Well, the stock's trading at 47.85, down about 33 cents. That's about 0.6, almost 0.7% down today. The 20-day simple moving average comes in at 47.01. So we have the stock basically 84 cents above that 20-day moving average. Now we look at that institutional moving average, the 50-day moving average. It comes in at a 42.79. That's basically $5 and some change below where the stock is trading right now. So you have the 20-day at 47, you have the 50-day at 42.79. You now got that big gap. So the trend is very strong to the upside. It's very confirmed. Now the stock is trading right above that 20-day moving average. This is where it gets interesting. This data could actually start moving the stock. Now, if it slices through the 20-day, does that mean you exit the trade? Not necessarily. Again, you're going to have to do your own due diligence, look at your risk tolerances, your objectives. But what it is telling you is that now, when it gets into that area between 47 and 42, that's where all of a sudden institutions might start to nibble, especially if it gets into previous support levels, if those support levels happen to be within that gap between 47 and 42, and it happens to be right around that $45 level. So this is going to be very interesting. Now, the 200-day moving average comes in at 42.11, so we know where long-term support is. And the options, well, the weekly options that are expiring tomorrow are pricing in the potential for this stock to go up or down about $1.04. So you could see right now close to what, about a 3.5% move going into this data that's due out tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on Delta. And as a matter of fact, we'll report on that tomorrow morning when the data comes out, either in the overnight report, so join us at 8:30 Eastern time, or we'll cover it on the opening bell, what's hot on the open, at 9:30 Eastern time. Okay, that's it for Tech Talk, where we married technical analysis and charts with some analysis of option pricing, all boiling it down to giving you some transparency on what stocks have been doing and where they're forecasted to potentially go. All right, well, that's it for right now. I'm going to be back on at 4:30, wrapping up the day with the closing bell. Please join me here at MarketStream.live. Take care.